Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
That's what these.
Hexeth was complaining that it was front page news about these 6 service members who were killed.
That's not what the secretary said, Caitlin, and that's not what the secretary meant, and you know it. You know you are being disingenuous. There is not. We've never had a secretary of defense who cares more.
Let's get through where tragic things happen. It's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad.
Yeah,
as you know, we cover the deaths of U.S. service members under every president.
The press does only want to make the president look bad. That's a fact. Especially you. No, listen to me. Especially you and especially CNN. And the Secretary of Defense cares deeply about our war fighters and our men and women in uniform. He travels all across this country to meet with them, to connect with them, and your network has hardly ever probably reported on that. You also had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Chairman Kane, who's a brave patriot, standing alongside the secretary at the Pentagon this morning, again expressing his condolences to these families. And I just told you that the President of the United States will be attending their dignified transfer. So please,
that's not making the president look bad. That's showcasing that.
We expect you to cover that as you should. We expect you to cover that as you should, Caitlin. But you and your network know that you take every single thing this administration says and tries to use it to make the president look bad. That is an objectable fact.
I don't think covering troop deaths is trying to make the
If you're trying to argue right now that CNN's overwhelming coverage is not negative of President Donald Trump, I think the American people would tend to agree, and your ratings would tend to disagree with that as well.
Just talked about the ratings. We can't have that. Well, their ratings are better than PMS now. Yeah. 0 and 0. Welcome, my friends, to the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. Caitlin Collins picking a fight she wishes she didn't, perhaps in retrospect, with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. And it's funny. I was talking a few moments ago with James Flippin, Red Apple Audio Network's news director. And we talked about this business with with Rubio. Rubio said, and then now Trump says, let me just start off with that. I hadn't intended on it. The Jews. Because that's where all this is headed. You have some conservatives, including some people that I know in the media and love in the media for who they are as people. But boy, oh boy, do I think that some of these people are so wrong. And so we've had the story for the last few days. The only reason we're in this war is because of the Jews. The Jews did it. And Marco Rubio said, Marco Rubio did not say that. In fact, and I just want to deal with this for 1 minute. Anybody that thinks that Donald Trump, and you see them. If you're online, you see the memes, some of them really awful. You see the discussion points. And by the way, some of these discussion points have been around as long as I have. They're just recycled to whatever the current time is, pretty much attacking Israel and attacking people for supporting Israel. You see it all the time. We're only doing this because of... No. If you have not followed the history of Iran and the United States for 47 years, then how dare you make this accusation? If you don't remember what happened with Iran's proxies, the 240, I keep saying 242, it may be 241, the Marines that were killed in Lebanon. If you don't remember what happened in the Iraq War with the IEDs that were supplied by Iran, killing American military men and women, as many as they could kill, and left unanswered for the most part because we all knew Iran was supplying them, and Iran never paid the price for it. If you don't remember, America held hostage the storming of the American embassy under President Carter, holding this nation's citizens. And when they attack that embassy, that is like attacking the United States of America. Embassies are sovereign to the country. That is, you are setting foot in America. That was an attack on America. And the only reason that they stopped was because Ronald Reagan was inaugurated. He let it be known. I'm not going to tolerate this. If you have not, for 47 years, understood that Iran has been the state sponsor of so many terrorist attacks that not just here in Europe that have affected America, then you don't pay attention to the news. How can you not understand this? So let me get to Marco Rubio, and let us play that first, because this has been circulating throughout social media, been circulating in the mainstream press, this idea of the narrative of why we entered action with Iran.
Israel was going to strike Iran, and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get.
Yeah, your statement is false. So that's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I asked.
Okay. No, were you the one that? Because somebody asked me a question yesterday. Did we go in because of Israel? And I said, you were asking me that. That follow up, and I said no. I told you this had to happen anyway. The president made a decision, and the decision he made was that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ballistic missile program. That Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ability to conduct these attacks. That decision had been made. The president systematically made a decision to systematically destroy this terroristic capability that they had, and we carried that out. I was very clear in that answer. This was a question of timing, of why this had to happen as a joint operation, not the question of the intent. Once the president made a decision that negotiations were not going to work, that they were playing us on the negotiations, and that this was a threat that was untenable, the decision was made to strike them. That's what I said yesterday, and you guys need to play it. And if you're going to play these statements, you need to play the whole statement, not clip it to reach a narrative that you want to do, all right?
Right. And his whole statement has been taken so out of context, and especially by people whose intent is nefarious. Anyway, Pete Hegseth had a few things to say about. Before we get to any of that, I just want to give you the difference. You see the way that the media handles Rubio. They lie. They straight up take something and say, oh, we'll cherry pick that, put a narrative out there. The way that they go after Caitlin Collins, going after, well, yeah, and then denying, oh, we don't try to make Trump look bad. Are you kidding me? That's the reason for your existence. A quick aside. Dear leaders of Paramount, yes, the media company Paramount, you are entering into a phase where you might be acquiring CNN. Many of you beat out Netflix. It's yours. You can have CNN. Please, please, Mr. Ellison or whoever else you appoint to run, please do something with CNN. I'm not going to suggest what you should do with CNN. It should be obvious. Please. This has been going on for too long. Please do something with this network. Please, we beg you. And then, if that other network down the block is put on the chopping block, pick that one up too. The PMS, whatever they are. PMS then, PMS where. Anyway, quick aside. Back to the stories of the day. You see how the media treats, and you've seen it for decades, how the media treats conservatives, how they treat Republicans, et cetera, et cetera. Now let's focus on how they treat Democrats. This reminds me of something. Princess Diana would know this. I think the same thing happened with John Kerry years ago. I was searching for it, but I can't find it. I know where it happened. I can see it in my mind. It was outside of 1717 DeSale Street in Washington, D.C., which was the home of the Washington ABC news coverage. And so the Sunday shows there used to be a gaggle of reporters there when people came. Kerry came in. I think it was John Kerry.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.